Hello, welcome to Miemie's Keepsakes. I'm Arnell. I am here today with a design team project for Tuke's craft table, and I have this very large journal to show you. I did use her September Blue kit. That is one of my absolute favorite kits of all the kits I've ever bought. And her some background kits, some tag kits, and her blue label kit, a lot of different kits. I'll try to list them all in the description box below, as well as her shop, and you can go buy these from her. She has beautiful, beautiful kits. So this journal is very big. It is 12 inches by about 8 inches. And I made a slow stitch journal cover, so it's a soft bendy cover with some Amazon packaging in the middle. And I used just scrap pieces of fabrics that I had in my craft room, lots of vintage doilies, and then I did fussy cuts from Kathy Holden fabric. And so the entire book looks like this, front and back, and as you can see, lots of stitching on here, mother of pearl buttons, and then in the back also some fussy cuts from the Kathy Holden fabrics and vintage doilies. Like I said, well, just a lot going on the cover. And then if you go inside, I have more fussy cuts from Kathy Holden fabrics, some laces, and this beautiful fabric that I've received from my friend Dagmar. Just love it. And I didn't sew it on or glue it on because I did want this to be soft and bendable and just nice and soft to the touch. Then this is a Dodds Almanac from 1947, and I got this beautiful little booklet from my friend Lynn. I made a cluster here with more stitching on there, faux vintage tape that I made. And then this just opens up, and look at how beautiful the back of the page is. And then this is one of my purple cabbage dyed envelopes, and the back page, this is her background pages. I only picked the blue. The kits are really, they're big, but I only picked the blue pages from the background kit, so there's not even, I didn't even use all of them. And just a strip of fabric, some washi, and then I made a cluster with papers and stamps and fussy cut, and this cute little doily that my friend Lynn gave me. And then just a vintage receipt, and the date might be here, 1945, and that just tucks in there. And again, you can either add more things right on here, even right on here, if you maybe use a Sharpie or a thicker black pen. And then the second page is September Blue from Tuke's shop, and this is a vintage page from a manual to fix vehicles that that they would have used. I think this is also from the 40s, but I'm not entirely sure. And then there's a tag from Tuke's kit. I coffee dyed these, so the tags are a little brighter when you print them, but I wanted them to look more faded and coffee dyed. So all of the tags that I'm showing you are coffee dyed. And then this cute little tag that with a stamp on fabric, and this was in the trunk that I got from Laura and Jen and Camille when we had to leave our house, and they gave me this huge trunk with wonderful things in it to just build up my stash again. Thank you. And this is a stereotype card, and there's lots of writing on the back. It is an original one. And just some writing paper here with a little cluster and one of the blue labels from Toque. Some ruffled lace, and then I have a little cluster here again with some fabric, threads in the back, and a stamp, and I just stapled that on there. This is a printable, but I cannot remember whose it is. And I just put some tape on there, and then I added some inks and folds and all kinds of things to make it look really old and wrinkly. And then on this side you have a lot of writing space to write, obviously. On this side I just paper clipped in this half a page from a vintage recipe book, and I just love the colors. On that side there's writing space again, or you can tear this up and do some collage with it. And this is a vintage envelope from 1976, and inside I have again one of Toque's beautiful tags. And of course there's writing space again, and then this flips open with a lot of writing space. So if you have all of this open, you can do a lot of writing or gluing in here, whatever you want to. There is a lot of room there to do different things. And a original vintage ledger. Can't remember where I got that from, but that was gifted to me as well. It might be Dagmar, I'm not sure. And then I just have a glassine envelope here with some stamps to use in the journal. And I made a, oh, if I can just get the stamps back in the envelope. I made a cluster there in the front of the envelope with a vintage book page and some stamps. And this pocket is a brown bag, one of Toque's beautiful tags in here again, and then a cluster with lace, vintage book page, and her blue labels. And then on this side I made a cluster here that is her background pages as well, and one of those flips that I got from Laura and Jen, one of the two, I'm not sure. That's a sample stamp. And this paper is my black olive dyed paper with two of Toque's beautiful tags in here, and a cluster with bird fussy cuts and lace. And then the back of that brown bag, and again that I think that is Toque's papers with a cluster of laces here, a mother of pearl button, and a little bow. And again this is Toque's tag, but I coffee dyed it and some of the coffee spilled on the front, and it just made this watermark, and it turned green. I don't know why, but I love it. So this is a beautiful, beautiful tag, but it will look different when you buy it. And then on the back of the bag I made a little cluster with one of the cutouts from Kathy Holden fabric again that I glued on there, and again a tag from Toque that was coffee dyed, so the green pieces there won't be, if you buy it you need to coffee dye that to get that. An original ledger paper. And then this little cute little girl is just one of those German cutouts, a stamp, and it opens up and there's a small pocket in here where you can add things and write in here. So just a little, and you'll see I paper clipped a lot of these pieces in because the journal did become very bulky. And then you can move it around whichever way you want. This is my boiled papers, and they're there. And then again a little cluster with those cute doilies from Lynn, and a fussy cut and a sample stamp. And then because the big book was so big, I had to make Franken paper. So that's the back of that mechanics book, and then shorthand papers glued together. And I did that so this would be lots of writing space here again. And this is again from September Blue. Isn't that the most pretty paper? And one of her tags again, and again I coffee dyed it so the spots there would look different when you just print it. And a vintage receipt from 1991. Not super old, but still vintage. And this flips over to have the back of that Dot's Almanac. And I just love this. It's just so pretty. Now I just made a pocket here, so there's this more spot to add more things, but like I said, it became a little bulky, and I wanted to add a lot of Duke's beautiful tags. These are all her tags. And isn't that beautiful? Again, coffee dyed, so don't take that. It will look different when you buy her kit. And I just made another pocket here with some clusters and lace, and that's from her background pages. This is just a little cluster, and I think this Camille made these. I'm not sure. It's either Camille, Laura, or Jen. And then a little cluster here, and this opens up for extra writing space. And that is my coffee lace dyed papers. And a vintage piece of an envelope that I cut. And then a little booklet here, that's a paper clip, and the September Blue pages. This is a cluster here, that's a pocket, so it's one of the, it's a tea bag that Duke sent me in Happy Mail. I will link the video in my description box with a sample stamp. Beautiful. Thank you, Duke, for that wonderful Happy Mail. And again, this safety pin was from Laura and Jen in that chest of absolute goodness. A pocket here with a Tim Holtz people, and then just a paper clip, decorated paper clip, and coffee dyed tag from Duke, and just a little cluster there on the top. This is my painted lace dyed papers, the blue ones. And ledger paper, and this I got from my friend Dagmar. She gave me like a piece of needle point, and it had all of these little squares that were all different, so I cut this one off with just some threads. And this is an antique postcard from the early 1900s. There's no date on here, but it is from then. I didn't glue this on as a pocket because I thought that I'll leave for whoever buys the journal. They can decide to do that. This is my purple cabbage dyed papers with some sewing pattern and embroidery pattern on there. This is the back of the purple cabbage dyed papers, and I also have a purple cabbage dye CD envelope. And the sticker is actually on the inside, so if you put something in there you won't see this sticker. And then this flips open or over, and you can write on there or glue a photo on there. And this is from a cereal box, those bags inside, and it just makes a little tuck here with this tag. Was also in the Happy Mail that Duke sent me, and I just decorated it and coffee dyed it. So it tucks in there. I just like how it makes this kind of softer. And I have another photo tucked in with that little tuck there. And this is a vintage airmail envelope, and it flips open. And then you'll have some writing space there on a vintage ledger paper. And inside I simply have this tall skinny tag with some fabric on the top, and again some of those stamped fabric flips that I got from Laura and Jen. And then this is the blue paint and lace, a coffee lace dyed paper, some writing spots, and then this beautiful tag from Duke in her shop and her background papers, and just a little specimen card here for a tuck. Just look at how pretty this is. So this is a background paper, and this is from September Blue. Because the book was so big, I had to glue pages together, so you'll see that throughout the book. And then this just flips open, and again, I didn't make a pocket or anything with that I'll leave. And those tags that Duke gave me, I coffee dyed them. I have some slow stitching on here, fussy cut, and her blue labels. And again the blue purple cabbage dyed CD envelopes, and I hinged it on fabric and sewed it into the signature, the sticker there. And then inside I have a vintage receipt. It's not that old. It's probably from the 90s. Date 1989. And that goes in there. And then I have this policy envelope pocket here, and it opens up and you have a lot of writing space here. It also has an up tuck here, and you can also secretly put things inside the envelope here, because the envelope forms the base of the pocket. Some lace on the side, and a book page from a vintage gardening book. And again, some of my purple cabbage dyed papers, and a vintage receipt that was not filled in, so a lot of writing space here. And I just left it empty because it just adds. You can do whatever you want to with that. And then a fabric vintage doily, and so another page from the Dots 1947 almanac page. Just love this. It is fragile, so be careful. And from the September Blue, isn't that just beautiful? And then a cabbage dyed doily. And this, I am not sure whose printable this is, but I coffee dyed it and it turned purple and green, or pink and green, but I love it. So I just have a decorated paper clip here. And look at that, and there's some writing space there. Total accident. One of Duke's tags, and then just another vintage receipt, and this is 1987, so not that old. Just liked how the yellow tag looked on here and added a pop of color between all the blues. And then obviously you can write on the back there, and I did pop this vintage original photo in there, 1964. These ladies, I don't know if it's a birthday or maybe a baby shower or something. The back of the doily. And then on here I have another of those envelope pockets with an up tuck, so you can add something in there, and it just kind of goes underneath for the closure, and some beautiful lace. And then some more of Duke's beautiful tags. Again, I did coffee dye these, so they will look different when you buy them. And lace purple cabbage dyed papers. And then I have a belly band here that has a secret little writing spot there. Nobody will know. And it was a masterboard. And then this Hermelinda tag that just opens up and you can write in the middle, or lots of writing space. And then again that vintage gardening book. And this is the other side of the cabbage dyed CD envelope that I hinged on fabric and sewed into the signature with some mushrooms there. This is an original seed packet label, and I just added some of my boiled papers in there for some extra writing space. And then you have writing space there as well. And then just another vintage invoice from '89, and the back of that vintage book, I think it's 1947, and this paper is fragile as well, so you might have to reinforce with some washi or something. Then a decorated paper clip, and more of Tuke's beautiful tags. And then the back of my book, and it's just again fussy cuts from the Kathy Holden fabric, and that fabric that Dagmar gave me, some slow stitching, lace, and another of those little pins that I got from Laura and Jen. And this is the back of the book, the journal. So thank you, Tuke, for all these beautiful kits. I love the September Blue kit. Please go to our shop. I will link everything in the description box, and we will talk again soon. Bye.